Good morning. Thank you very much for giving the youth a chance for their voices to be heard. My name is Florence Lacrosse, and I'm here to represent the youth of the Mediterranean region. I think we can all agree on how amazing our forests are. We depend on them for so much. They provide us with food, medicine, energy. They also provide us with the fresh air we breathe, sustainable wooden products, with happiness. I invite you all to join me in closing your eyes and remembering the last time you went for a walk in nature. Studies show that time spent in nature can contribute to mental well-being and happiness. We also depend on our forests for so much more. They regulate water, they stabilize our climate, and they support life. Not only can forests be a tool for conservation, they can also be a way to secure jobs and to secure our future. Imagine how much we can achieve by protecting and restoring these ecosystems. Every action that we take today will continue to have lasting impacts on our current and future generations. They will impact everyone, including the youth of today and the youth of tomorrow. So I think it's very important that we sit back and think, what kind of impact do we want to have? What kind of actions should we take? The theme for this 7th Mediterranean Forest Week is forest and ecosystem restoration for the next Mediterranean generations. I think it's very important for us to think not just about acting for the next Mediterranean generations, but with the next Mediterranean generations. From my experience, with all the youth that are engaged on ecosystem and forest restoration, they all have one thing in common, and that is that they are engaged in the environments which they are trying to protect. They are connected to them, connected to forests, to nature, and this is a connection that is built by growing up and spending time in these environments. Unfortunately, more and more young people are becoming disconnected from nature. And how can we expect them to fight for something which they do not feel connected to? I think that's why it's very important for us to think about how we re-engage youth with nature, with forests, with these ecosystems. One way to do so is to encourage young people to spend more time in nature, to immerse in forests. And for that to happen, forests need to be made more accessible. Even youth in the city can be connected to forests and to nature with one simple solution, for example, sustainable wooden products. Imagine removing all the plastic, metal, and concrete we're surrounding with and replacing it with wood, beautiful wood that makes us feel alive and connected to nature. I think there is so much potential with sustainable wood. I have so much hope. Our imagination is our limit. And what's important to think about is that it's not, when I'm talking about sustainable wood, I'm not talking about deforestation and the wood that's cultivated unsustainably. I'm talking about sustainable forest management with a long-term vision. What's also important to think about when we're talking about engaging youth with forests and nature is rural to urban migration. A lot of young people are moving from rural areas to cities, to urbanized areas, because there is a lack of opportunities in these rural areas. Financial opportunities, job opportunities, academic opportunities. They're all limited in rural areas. So it's important for us to think about how we can create opportunities for young people in rural regions. The environmental crisis we are facing today, the climate crisis we are facing today, the deforestation crisis we are facing today is all a communication crisis. That is why it is so important that we learn to communicate these environmental issues in a constructive way, communicating science and political decisions in a constructive way. And that is why this 7th Mediterranean Forest Week is so important. We are all counting on you. The future is counting on you. Uniting people is no easy task, but what is one more challenge in the face of what all your Mediterranean countries have achieved? This regional group is unique in the way that it brings together, it unites continents. African, Asian, European countries all working together, connected by our common Mediterranean Sea. That is why it's also important that when we're talking about forest and ecosystem restoration, that we do not forget our underwater forests and our underwater ecosystems. I'd like to end with a quote from the United Nations Decade on Restoration. They say that restoration will only succeed if everyone plays a part. That means people from lots of different backgrounds, different nationalities, different ages, political leaders, scientists, indigenous peoples, local communities, young people, the general public. Everyone in this room and beyond, working together towards one common vision, sustainable ecosystem restoration. Thank you very much.
Côte d'Azur Üniversitesi Denizcilik ve Çevre Araştırmaları Laboratuvarı'ndan Florence Lacroix'a konuşmaları için teşekkür ediyoruz.